Welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2022 season, as it is crunch time as we look ahead to this Saturday afternoon's playoff semi-final eliminator against the Salford Red Devils. Kev, it's only the second game of the year that we have to actually try and win, and we failed in the semi.
Very true, very true. Listen, I know we're obviously going to talk about it, going to talk about squads and all that, but this could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think. Listen, when we looked at them playoffs last weekend, I think the one side out of the three potential opponents that we could be playing, easy for me to say.
Yeah.
The one we probably did actually want to avoid was Salford, wasn't it? The team in form. They've not just snuck into the playoffs; they've been on a real good run. They walloped us at the AJ Bell Stadium at the end of July. And they're going to come full of confidence after demolishing Huddersfield last weekend.
Yeah, and even when we played them at the Totally Wicked, it took that last gasp Morgan Knowles tackle to secure a win. There's been a lot of narratives on social media this week with regards to both. This is both sector fans as well. There's been lots of rumours about how we were missing X, Y, and Z players, including some of them who've been named in our squad and were never, ever injured at all. And one that I saw, well, a couple of Salford fans almost trying to cry in the underdog thing, which I get. They are underdogs. We should beat Salford. Should. I'm not saying we will, but we should beat Salford. But just saying I love all this hate after Ian Blease has been on Sky. I saw one of them. I genuinely think if you went round to every club who wasn't in the playoffs and said, who do you want to win the grand final? The answer would be unanimously Salford, because it proves anything is possible. It proves any club who is well run, recruits well, gets the right coaching staff in, and just gets it, can do it. And any club can do that.
Kev, just remind us what Ian Blease was saying on Sky for those of us, or those people watching Redvee who didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. I saw it on social media.
Well,
I've been working all day today. I've been working. That was just a Salford fan saying that they loved all the hate after he'd been on there. I saw nothing of the sort. I follow quite a few Salford fans. I follow quite a few, obviously, fans across other clubs. I don't get it, because people want Salford to do well. I'm not having it that people don't want Salford to do well. I'm not having it. From what I've seen, I'm not having it at all.
No, sorry. So it's not just me then who didn't realise what this hate was all about.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Salford as well have the bonus of being in an area that you could potentially grow the game. Yes, they're against A, a load of football league teams in the Manchester area, and B, two giant Premier League football teams. I mean, absolutely massive.
Who are they? Salford City and who?
Salford. Oldham are on the way back. No, they are. They're against. Obviously, they're over the road from Man United pretty much. They've got City not too far away. This is where they're in a place where you could pick up the odd fan who wants to see a bit of sport and can afford to go watching Salford play because it's more affordable than going to football. I don't get it. I don't get the narratives. Well, I do get the narratives. I do, because every single fan does it. Every single fan tries to play down the expectations on what's going to happen.
Yeah. Do you reckon Marwan Kukash is gutted he left the club when he did?
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
Listen, do you know what? As you say, Kev, we'll be favourites. I don't think massive favourites, slight favourites, and probably that goes with finishing top of the table, big game now, and home advantage.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. But do you know what? Semi-finals should be able to go out either way.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of a playoff series. It shouldn't be a case of it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. If the game didn't have this jeopardy in it, then we shouldn't be going watching it.
Yeah. Didn't Salford go to Wigan in 2019 and beat them?
8-0, wasn't it? With Jackson Hastings.
It's possible. Yeah, It's all possible. Like, listen, there's nothing, and we've had quite a bit of a swing on social media where people have turned around and said we're going to do it comfortably. We think, because I called it a cracker before on our Twitter feed. Somebody said, I think you've mixed up cracker with struggle. Other people been a lot more pessimistic, saying I think we're going to get beaten. They're all valid opinions, but we are going to go into this as favourites. We're currently on one bookmaker, we're 8-point favourites, which I think is about right for how both teams are going into it. We've not been able to keep a proper back five on the pitch, even call it back seven on the pitch, all season. So we're chopping and changing there. But there's still quality, and there's still enough quality. Assuming everyone gets through the 80 minutes, there is still enough quality for us to go out there and win it. Saints fans shouldn't be pessimistic. Should be going there, bouncing on Saturday afternoon, making the best atmosphere, because Salford are taking over 3,000 fans, bringing over 3,000 fans, sorry. So they're going to be up for it. So we can't go in with the nervous kind of attitude. We've got to be there, and we've got to be confident about it.
There's your rallying call.
It's not quite as good as is it Michael Sheen, the Welsh actor on League of Their Own? Is better. So
right, Kev, who's this young handsome man on the squad news? I don't recognise him much.
That is Widnes's finest.
That's you, isn't it?
No, I'm from Haydock. Don't confuse people who don't like us, because I'm Scouse from Burnley, and the people now will think I'm from Widnes.
But mutated a little bit, being over there in the smog for so long.
Are you allowed to say that? That's Percy, and we had again.
With that radioactive glow coming off, yeah.
I've had ready, Breck. There's one that's not for the kids. Listen. We had someone on social media say, do you think it's a double bluff and Percy won't play? And I just asked the question, do you use him as the face of our squad news if you're not going to play him? I'm not insinuating anything with that, but do you use him in such a prominent kind of graphic if he's not going to play?
No, listen, he's missed the last however many months, so why would you just lash him in the squad if you weren't going to play him?
Exactly.
Now, we have only named a 20-man squad. So, technically, we can throw someone in for a late guest appearance.
Well, I'm going for a breakfast beforehand, so it's not going to be me.
Do you reckon Alex Walmsley would have been in the 21-man squad if somebody hadn't blew the news in the press? And we had to scratch him out last minute.
Yeah, probably. But I think...
Can Kyle Amor play?
Well, we got asked this before, didn't we? I think he could. I think it could be shades of Matty Smith in 2010.
You can just see him running on the pitch, ripping the shirt, lashing the microphone, pulling the jersey on, going over the fist. Then back on commentary duties when he's off the field.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, just give him a couple of minutes to get back up to the top of the stand and get his breath back, and yeah, he'll be good to go.
Listen, if he's been waiting for a couple of months, he'll be blowing.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that because we've named a 20-man squad, a lot of people will read into we could drop someone in there. I think it makes it slightly easier to predict possibly what Christian Wolf's going to do. And listen, when we kind of predict the squad, because we don't know, but when we're trying to predict a 17-man squad, I at least try and base it on what Christian Wolf has done in the past. So God bless him, John Lewis, who's of this parish of the instant fan reaction, has been on a couple of times. He's called for Kurt Sirenen to play standoff and prop forward in the past couple of weeks. John, with all the best will in the world, listen, I'll doff me cap to you if that comes true, but because he's not played there before, I didn't think it was ever going to go.
I'll fly him to the NRL Grand Final. I don't mind doff me cap. Yeah. I've seen some of his sources and suggestions, and if he said it was raining, I'd look out the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Kev. And I think you have to go with logic. Logically, Taylor Pemberson's not making the 17. Logically, Sam Royal isn't making the 17. And for me, I'm going to say Ben Davies misses out.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I think we'd said a few weeks ago that you needed to get players in the right positions. Now, with Hopper missing out, I think John Bennison plays fullback.
Yeah.
I think Jack Wellesby partners Johnny Lomax in the halves.
Yeah.
And we've seen a couple of times this year, Sione play centre.
Yeah.
And put maybe, if Percy's coming back in, he hasn't had a lot of contact, doesn't want to do a lot of defensive work, potentially. Put him out on the wing outside Sione for me.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'd go for. I think Iggy starts alongside Matty Lees. Because you just look at what's happened in the past couple of weeks. You look at that Toulouse game. We didn't drop Jack Wellesby into fullback and play Ben Davies in the halves. We played Jack Wellesby in the halves and John Bennison at fullback. So I don't see why you'd go changing that again.
Yeah.
You're trying to get them combinations working. If we need someone to do minutes in the forward pack, you've got Jake Winfield, and Dan Norman's unlucky because he's missed out with a broken cheekbone, and we'd probably have a big conversation about him. But Jake Winfield's going to be at the bench. Louis going to be at the bench. They're going to be your middles, I'd say.
Yeah.
With Lussick obviously spelling Roby when needs be.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kev, my outrageous, shocking thing is I think James Roby will start at 9.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you reckon?
Possibly, yeah.
Next, you'll be saying Tommy and Conrad will be on that right-hand side.
And then I think James Bell's done enough to make the bench.
Definitely. Mentioned him in instant fan reaction after the Toulouse game. I think he's all action. And listen, Morgan Knowles was propped. In the past, he wore 8, I think it was for England, at the Halliwell Jones. He could do 10, 15 minutes if needed up there, and you wouldn't lose too much from him because you've got James Bell, who's going to be all over the park trying to cover every blade of grass.
Yeah. And the good news is, if there is no Will Hopoate this week, which obviously is not on the squad at the moment, that means there's no way he could be injured if we reach the grand final.
Unless he picks up a knock in training.
No, but he won't miss 2 games in a row.
Oh, right, okay.
He doesn't play 2 games in a row generally. So
you're right.
I predict if we make the grand final, he plays fullback and he wins the man of the match and scores the winner.
I was actually thinking that, and I think one thing
lifts the trophy, hurts his shoulder, has a couple of months out, back for the start of next season, done and dusted. See you later. Worth every penny.
I think that's going to be like if we win on Saturday and Will Hopoate does come back into the squad, that's going to be a big talking point of who you play at fullback.
Will Hopoate. End of.
Well,
sorry, I said on the instant reaction a few weeks ago.
I'm going to interrupt you here. This is what you do. You play Will Hopoate because there's no room for sentiment. You play your bigger game players. You play your fella who's played 200 times in the NRL.
Correct, Kevin. You're on mute, Kev. Stay on mute then for all I care. Oh, he's back. But you're absolutely right, Kev.
Am I?
Yeah, you didn't even need to go on a rant.
Yeah, you pick the lad who's played 200 NRL games, and that's no offence to John Bennison. John Bennison's time will come, but you've got to go with that as long as he's fit. You don't throw him in if he's only 70-80%. That's when you stick with your John Benison at fullback.
John Benson is fully worthy this season of contributing and getting us to the final. But Will Hopewati, I think I said it on one of the fan reactions, if Saints are going to win the grand final this season, whether that's against Wigan or Leeds, if we get there, then Will Hopewati has to be in that team for me.
Yep.
Salford squad, great to see that they produced a graphic. Shame they couldn't put a player in an away kit, but there we go. The big news for them, Kev, Brodie Croft misses out, and that's probably big news for Saints as well, because he is their main danger man in a lineup that has a few others as well.
Yeah, I think it's... Listen, no one wants to see players miss out. It's right that he misses out because of the HIA protocol. But nobody wants to see that. You'd rather see the best teams go up against each other and you win it because you deserve to win it because the best team has beaten the other team's best team. But to kind of not pay any attention to the likes of Ryan Brearley, Joe Burgess, Mark Sneed, who attempt to kick us to death on Saturday, Andy Ackers, who's been absolutely magnificent for them and should be in the England World Cup squad, by the way. The likes of Shane Wright, who's been immense for them in their pack. Listen, you take your eye off a couple of their players, and all of a sudden, I mean, Tim Laffey led us a merry dance at the AJ Bell, didn't he? I think someone had posted on social media that the only time Conrad got near him was to shake hands at the end, which, listen, everybody can have a bad game against someone who's having a great game. And I'm sure that Conrad will be looking to put that right, but they've got strike players all over the park. Chris Atkin probably comes in for Brodie Croft as well. And around this time of year, he's playing to keep his place in that 17. He's playing to win the game and then the week after, keep his place in the 17. You don't want to be 18th man on a grand final weekend.
Is it fair to say, Kev, that we're not going to see anything unexpected from Salford because they've got one way of playing and it's very, very effective, and we've got to try and find a way to stop that?
Yes. Yeah. I think, first of all, you concentrate on your own game. You concentrate on pinning them back, stopping the kicks and Mark Sneed that will take you and turn your full back round just before his own line. You've got to concentrate on your own game. But yeah, when it comes to defending, as you say, they know one way how to play. It's very, very effective. I think they were high on completions as well against Huddersfield, which Huddersfield pride themselves on. So you've got to kind of knock them off their stride and knock them away from that game plan when you have to. But concentrate on us scoring tries and listen, they'll come for us.
Ryan Brearley at full-back. I don't know whether you've seen the game last week. I'm just looking at his sponsor. Is it a little bit fishy that he avoided a ban this week?
No.
Should he have got a
ban? Borderline. I'm indifferent to it. I'm indifferent. I think, as we've said on our socials as well, the disciplinary panel needs a complete reset.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a fan of players missing playoff games because of isolated incidents in games. I don't think it does the competition any good. So, if it happened mid-season, would you got a ban? Absolutely.
Yeah. If it's a bad one as well, like a proper, like, ref seen it and everything here. But sometimes I think they are a little picky on the panel because you see some stuff and you're like, really?
Yeah.
They've given a game or two for that, really? And I know they are in a difficult position because they've got the there's the ongoing kind of legal challenges that they've got going, but also be a bit smarter about it.
Listen, Kev, as Ryan Lannon and Sitaliki Akuala Has their chances of getting a player sponsor been affected by the more likely to be in front of the disciplinary half the year?
Who knows? Who knows?
Sorry, can I just say about the sponsors, by the way? Know if you were making a computer game and you were making a load of fake sponsor names of companies, some of them would definitely be in it. Like just dead generic stuff.
Well, listen, they're putting money into the game. Like the companies are doing
There's
it.
no Redvee.net, are they?
Well, of course. Of course.
Yeah. Let's just hope we can wrap Joe Burgess up and flush him down the drain.
Are you now quickly looking through to see what jokes you can make?
Yeah. We'll beat Salford and put Ahmed Burra back on his bike.
Brilliant.
And let's hope that Chris Atkin isn't the final piece in that jigsaw. Close. Right, Kev. If we were a car show, we'd get Callum Watkins on to talk leasing, but we're not. Predictions for the first semi-final, first of all.
I think we're going to win. I do think we're going to win. I think it'll be quite tight, but towards the end, Wigan might go a couple of scores clear.
I'll be honest, I think Wigan will absolutely hammer them. Because as we all know, Leeds aren't a big club.
That's the one. They'll win now, and we'll have to play them, and somebody will clip that now. And I'm glad it's not me saying it, because someone will clip it, and it'll be you saying it, and just me going. Listen, Leeds are more than capable of going and getting a result. I just think that...
and they all know I'm fishing, because when I posted up about them not being a massive club in whatever month it was, I had all 50 of them who came over biting.
But yeah, I think they're capable, but I don't think they will. I think we're going to win that one.
Yeah, we're going to pulverise them. Predictions for us then, Kev?
Tighter game. A tighter game, with the weather meant to be good for the next couple of days. I can see this being a proper good, potentially high scoring.
They'll say that.
Yeah, I can see it being. Well, both teams do like to play rugby, though. I know Christian Wolf has got the NRL mindset as well, but both teams do like to play rugby and aren't scared of throwing it about. Well, you have a look. We talk about that Morgan Knowles tackle. That's because we've gone for it with the game pretty much wrapped up. Yeah, I think it'll be tight. Obviously, I'm going to say a Saints win because we're favourites, and we should, because we've got home advantage, win the game. But I would definitely not rule Salford out at all.
I think we'll be able to judge after 15 minutes of how the game is going to go. If it's an arm wrestle or Saints in front, I think Saints win. I think Salford's best chance of winning is getting an early lead, getting a couple of scores up.
Yeah.
And I think if Salford get a couple of scores up, we panic a little bit. That? Or I don't know, maybe not in recent years, but I think there's a few times this season where we've gone down in games and we've been a couple of scores behind, and you just don't think we're coming back from it. I know we did it at Magic. But
yeah, we did it at Magic. And to be fair, in the semi-final at Ellen Road, we were behind, and then we kind of pushed in front, and then again a pass that goes out and gets taken, and he goes to the length. It's like we can come from behind, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just think that we may well be a bit smarter, and I think the likes of Alex Walmsley missing is big, because Iggy Parsley's been doing a job coming off the bench rather than starting, and I think that platform that the pack, and I'm not just laying it on the props, that the pack lay is going to be massive. If we can pin them down there and get a couple of early scores, then hopefully we can manage the game out.
Yeah. My concern is what happened at the AJ Bell, because we went a couple of scores down, and I'm not being funny. I've never seen a team in years more rampant against us than Salford were that day. They were phenomenal. If they put that level of performance on again, we're going to find it tough. But equally, I don't think we can be as bad again.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
You can't. And that's just quite. That didn't even look like the same team on the field that day.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully, both teams can keep all the players on the field, whether that be through misdemeanors or injuries or whatever, and we see a proper Saints performance and a good Salford one as well. Listen, this is starting to sell our game, and this is what's got to happen. As you say, if we were going to write this off and say, well, Saints are going to win this by 50-60, like we've been over to Salford in the past, had a man sent off and still absolutely banjoed them, then it's not worth going to. This is a game that's going to be worth seeing.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to mention that Salford. I'm knackered. I'm not even going to mention that Salford haven't won at Saints in 42 years.
Listen, Castleford stopped that, like ended that run for them. They're there to be broken. Them records are there to be broken.
Right, I'm going to predict Saints by 10 in a very low-scoring contest. Oh, well, every time. It's as predictable as my bad puns.
But it'll be more of a high-scoring game, I think. Yeah, when I say high-scoring, I mean like a 34-20 or something like that.
Well, let's hope, Kev, that this isn't the last preview show of the season.
Yeah. Just, you're going to edit all these yawns out, or?
No. But yeah, there we go. Right. I will see you Saturday, Kevin. And hopefully we'll be in the queue for some grand final tickets. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you Saturday afternoon for either a really, really happy fan reaction or no.
Succinct, I like it.
We should charge for this. I think people will charge us for watching it.
Yeah, too right.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.